Hello everyone, welcome back, and it's time to have fun and get our hands dirty because we are going to implement this flow that we just described in the previous video. And now basically in our course architecture here, we are going to be focused on this area here. We are going to be generating our root certificate authority and our intermediary certificate authority, which will enable us to actually generate certificates for each of our services. So without further ado, let's dive into the code. So I have created here a provisioning script to simulate this, let's say, generation of certificates and provisioning everything that you're going to need in our course, in our system. And so the first thing, it is the GenCA, where we're going to generate our certificate authority certificates. And to start with, let's have a look how we have separated this here. The first thing we are doing in the script, it is generating a folder which is called protected, when this is to communicate that everything in here should be highly protected and not sharing with anybody. A little bit about the root certificates, which you are going to be first generating here. It is that root certificate is a self-signing certificate used to identify the root certificate authority, which means this is the root and not generated using any other certificate. The root certificate is the topmost certificate of the tree. The private key of it is used to sign other certificates. So this is the root certificate to be used to assign other certificates. In our case, we are calling intermediary certificates. Okay. And with the intermediary, we are going to actually sign self-certificate. The root certificate is used to sign intermediate certificate, as I said, which is then used to sign the self-certificate. One very important thing here, keep the root certificate offline and secure. Don't share this with anybody because this will be the certificate for your company and you'll be using this to sign other services or other type of certificate that you might be requiring. Let's then see how we generate it. The first thing is to generate a private key, and for all that, actually here, generate a private key. And for that, we use a Linux command. If you don't have Linux, if you're not using Linux, you can just use a Docker image for that. Then we create the proper certificate for the root. And for that, we actually use a root config file, which you have it here. And I'm not going to go through each of those parameters because this is just to illustrate, and it's not very. When you're doing that, you should go to the command itself and read through all them. So this is basically all we need to generate the root certificate, and you can use that if you need so. Then when you have the certificate, you should generate a key and also a root certificate, right? And then you should keep those two very safe. Then you are going to use this certificate and the key only to actually sign an intermediary certificate, right? So keep that safe, and you can see. Let's just generate it here before we move. Let's run our provision script, and this was generated the key, and this is how the key looks like. And you have the root CA certificate. This is the certificate itself. Then it's how it looks like. And we are going to use this two key and the certificate to sign a intermediate certificate, which you're going to see now how to do that. So now that the first thing you have to do, it is actually generate a key, private key, right? And then this time you're not going to generate the certificate straight. What you're going to generate is a certificate signing request, which you will just describe it here. It's a CSR, and this we will actually generate it in your server and send it to certificate authority, and the certificate authority will sign the certificate and send the certificate back, right? So let's see how we do that. So we create the SSR, right? And when you have this SSR, we then give this SSR, so it's this equal to a offline process to sign our certificate with the root key and the root certificate. And then we will get our certificate 10, right? And then what I'll do next, we actually put together a intermediate certificate authority and the root into a single CA certificate. And this, it's called full chain certificate because it would contain two certificates on the same certificate file. Let's run it and see how it goes. Yeah, so now you can see that now we have 3 more. We have the CSR. Let's see how it looks like. It is a certificate request. And you have our key, and you had our certificate itself. And outside of the protect area, we have the CA cert, which will be sharing with, we're going to be actually sharing this into all our services. And this is a public file, and you can share among your services. And this, you can see that there is a certificate here, which is the intermediate one, and you have the other one here, which is the root one. And this is a full chain certificate. And this, it's basically covers our full CA certificate generation. And now we are with this, we are going to be able to generate self-certificate. But you're going to see all that in the next video.